So here's Alex sideboarder for game 2. Do you want to explain it?
Yep. Okay, so Luke's deck has no 1-drops to speak of that I care about. So Mental Misstep is the first card in my deck that's obviously terrible.
Yeah, well spotted. I've only got 2 1-drops in my entire deck, so...
Okay, yeah, and neither of those cards are high impact enough that I'll be wanting to spend one of my cards to interact with them. I'd rather only interact with Luke's really high curve stuff and let him ramp out and just try and clock him and then stop his high curve stuff from being impactful with counter spells than trying to prevent him from ramping in the first place. So Mental Misstep was the first card to go. The second card that I figured was weak was Kasali Pride Mage. Luke, as far as I can tell, doesn't play any high impact artifacts or enchantments.
No, I've got no targets really. It's just
like Pernicious Deed, but Kasali Pride Mage is going to look very silly trying to answer a deed.
Yeah. So you've just got a 2/2 for Exalted for 2. It's not that bad, really.
But it's still not really where I want to be.
Yeah.
Lingering Souls is just slower than Geist of Saint Traft. Geist of Saint Traft clocks for 6 for 3 mana, and Lingering Souls clocks for 4 for 5 mana, which is an absolutely abysmal comparison. So Geist of Saint Traft is straight up better at providing a fast clock, which is what I want to be doing against Luke. Submerge is just a superior removal spell to Bant Charm. As we've already covered, Luke doesn't have any good artifacts as far as I know, and after looking at Luke's deck list after the game, I do know for certain that now, but at the time I was fairly sure he didn't have any high impact artifacts.
Or instance.
Scapeshift obviously being a sorcery. If Bant Charm could counter sorceries, it would have stayed in.
Yep.
So Submerge is just better against Luke's big fatties because it's free and it allows me to keep being the tempo deck in this matchup, which is a strange role for Bant to play, but I guess it's how this matchup has to play out.
Yeah.
And Archmage counters Scapeshift. It's
And my tutors.
and your tutors, but it counters Scapeshift.
Yeah.
And Damnation or any cards like that can just take away my entire board state.
Yeah. I also sideboarded for game 2.
Sylvan Library, I haven't covered.
Okay, sure.
And the Sylvan Library, guys, just digs me counter spells. Because, as previously mentioned, I just want to interact with Luke's big cards and let him ramp out. So I really want to see my counter spells. And Luke doesn't apply pressure on my life total, so it just gives me free cards, tells me find more gas, get to my counter spells, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Here's how I sideboarded for game 1. Game 2, sorry. I brought it out Thrun, Quagnoth, Bloodbraid. All those 3 or more against the counterspell decks. You do play counterspells, but I'm happy for you to burn the counterspells on anything else except for Scapeshift. So, and Primeval Titan came out kind of because I didn't know what else to take out. I wanted all my removal against these early guys to buy me time. I don't know. I was a bit unsure. I wanted the removal in case you had Aven Mind Sensor, really. And also, I thought you'd have Armageddon Ravager's War in the board.
Which I was running last week.
Yeah.
And, I cut those cards, guys, because after a bunch of playtesting with them and playing them in the matchups where I wanted them, I found that they still weren't amazing on the draw. And when you have a sideboard card that's coming in for a targeted matchup, and it's only good on the play, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
You want your sideboard cards to be impactful in your matchups and really help you improve your game 2 and 3. And Armageddon Ravager's War were really, really, really improving the play and being almost bad or dead sometimes on the draw.
Yeah, I read your deck list from last week and I saw them in there, so I made the effort to play the cards that would keep me ahead on board enough that you couldn't Ravagers or get in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the actual game. We've got
Okay, so
can you remember from
Trinket
memory?
Mage Plains.
I shipped my hand. I had 6 lands and Search for Tomorrow.
If I remember this correctly, his hand is a tiny... I think Trinket Mage and a bunch of lands and a blue card. Mana Drain. I kept the hand because of Mana Drain. I had Mana Drain and Trinket Mage.
Okay, so I've mulled to 6 and you've kept your 7. And I'm going to play this game.
I think I draw Mana Dork off the top. I'm very lucky, I think.
Hmm.
In this game. Anyway.
Alright, 6 cards. Give me some good ones. What I got? Restore, Treetop, County Garden, Taiga, Natural Order, lead with the County Garden again. Little plant.
So I draw a Venser Sacred Savant, I think. Looks like. I'm not 100% certain on that.
Hmm.
But I think I have a Venser and a A Mana Drain and a Trinket Mage in hand as my spells.
So that's Nature's Law. It's a Portal Second Age Nature's Law. There's heaps of printings. There's like there's an Ice Age one.
For Nature's Law?
Yeah.
For Nature's Law, yes. Yeah. Not so much its counterpart, 3 Visits.
No, it's one printing, yeah. 3 Visits is the same thing, but a Portal 3 Kingdoms version.
And as such, costs about 25 times the price.
Suspend Search for Tomorrow, so found its way back into my second hand. And I've got a Massacre in hand as well. So I haven't got much gas, really, but if you do commit to the board, I can sweep you.
So I've just decided to play a Windswept Heath instead of a Marsh Flats, and I was thinking about whether I would want to be fetching an Underground Sea, because I think I have a Lingering Souls or something. I can't remember. And I'm just right now, I'm bemoaning the fact that I've played the Windswept Heath rather than the Marsh Flats, because I considered it, and I decided which one was better to play first. And then as soon as Luke had his turn, I was like, oh, I should have played the Marsh Flats instead.
You wanted to have double blue up for your mana drain.
I wanted to have double blue up for my mana drain, and I also wanted to get the black off Underground Sea rather than Bayou.
I see, yeah.
So I'm fetching a Breeding Pool here.
How come not Tropical Island? It must be in your hand.
I would assume so, yes.
So that's a tell. I didn't even think about that during the game. That you've probably got drops in hand, which is it's like an obvious thing. It's like...
Yeah,
basic Highlander stuff that I overlooked. There's the drain. Okay, I'm just like, sure.
I decided to drain because I wanted to capitalise off the mana here.
Yeah. Treetop go. You've drawn. That's an Elvish Mystic. 2 floating. Well, you got a nice juicy 5 or 4 drop for us.
No, I only played the 1/5 drop, and it's not even that great here in this situation. I think I just decided for a Trinket Mage, and I passed the turn. Or no, I play Trinket Mage against Skullclap, and I play Elvish Mystic.
Okay.
I think you. Yeah.
So that's some juicy fuel for my Massacre.
Yes, yeah, I didn't want to spoil it. I was just about to say it, and I held myself back. But yeah, Luke blows me out pretty badly.
Yeah. Well, it's not a blowout at all.
I said this during the game. If the game audio comes through, guys, we can't hear it. But I said, that's pretty good. And I said, that's 4 cards that I didn't draw off the Skull Clamp, probably. And but the Massacre, I think... It's an instant, right?
No, it's a sorcery.
Oh, okay. Right.
Because you can Burning Wish for it.
Yeah, Burning Wish. Yeah. Okay, so yeah.
I used to play Burning Wish in my Scapeshift deck, but I found it was too low impact.
So there's that Tropical Island.
And the Clamp. So I'm kind of glad I can Massacre before you get to put Clamp on anything.
Yeah, I considered putting Clamp on the Trinket Mage, but I didn't think you'd be playing that many sweepers. Just turned out you did have it here. So
upkeep, Search for Tomorrow comes off Suspend.
I'm just checking the card to see if how it works. It's just untapped basic land.
Yeah. I've drawn Wayfarer's Bauble. It's not what I want. I want a big threat right now. That's one of the perils of this deck. I can just draw all ramp and no fatty. So that's why I'm not sure on Massacre as a sideboard card, because I really just want the cards that aren't ramp to be a win condition.
I think Damnation's obviously a lot better, because
not obviously.
It kills everything I have.
Yes, yeah, but it costs 4 more mana.
Indeed, yeah, that's true.
Alright, so I've restored that Windswept Heath.
I think you can view Massacre as somewhat akin to a ramp spell in the sense that it, instead of accelerating you up a turn, it buys you a couple of turns.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it, yeah, for sure.
You still have to draw the lands on those draw steps, though.
Yeah.
But you do run 28 land and a lot of ramp spells.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So I take 3 with the treetop. I head down to
14 town.
14. That tree.
It's quite a nice place.
That treetop's going to be quite strong this game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. There you go again. It's interesting. The whole Back to the Future thing that goes on.
Yeah, it is, because
commentating your own match. Yeah.
It is, and you kind of forget small things that happen, but you get the general gist again.
Yeah. Because I did the same thing that you're doing. My first 1 or 2 commentaries.
Yeah.
But none of my other co-commentators have had that issue because they weren't playing the match.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. That makes absolute sense.
Okay, so your turn was non-eventful, really. I know, you're going for V-click and my draw step.
Your draw step after you draw. So if you hit the maximum number of cards,
Yeah.
you do get a chance to cast V-click in your opponent's draw step. You get priority before they go to their main
Yeah,
phase.
it's a classic Highlander play.
Legacy,
So,
modern,
yeah.
any format with V-click, most players will.
So you definitely don't want to trade with the V-click here. You'd rather race me back, make me pay 3 mana each turn,
Yeah.
and you can clamp the V-click if need be, and that kind of thing.
I'm under enough pressure from the Wildwood and the Raging Ravine that I don't think I can clamp the V-click profitably in this situation.
Yeah, you want to race back.
And now I think I've got in hand, if I remember correctly, I've got a Blade Splicer. Do I? What am I doing? I'm clamping the birds. I'm trying to figure out what color of mana I want to float here, guys, because the Plains is quite a bad land in my deck. I'm just figuring out what I want to float: green or white or black. So green or blue or black with the birds before I clamp it with the basic Plains.
Yeah, that hand cam's a little bit too far away, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I should have had it close up.
I think I went for black mana. No, because I could fetch with the. I'm not sure what mana I floated here. It might have been green. So draw 2 cards.
That's the green floating right there.
Yeah, so green.
You don't want it. Get it out of here.
Get out. Get that green mana out of here.
Yeah.
Well, what was your hand?
You don't know. Oh,
I
you saw Raging Ravine, and then I'm Hellbent.
Oh, okay, yeah. No cards in hand. Right. So yeah. So I'm just. So what I'm thinking here is I want to stabilize against his 2-man lands and hold up the Venser, and then I can next turn I think I've got an Eternal Witness, a pod for an Eternal Witness to get back mana drain. I stabilize. So the moment I'm thinking I've got Luke has to draw Scapeshift, or I just stabilize and I can't lose. So like.
And I've drawn Grim Tutor, so I drew Scapeshift.
And look at my facial expression.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing because I was just thinking about the irony. Like, I was doing all this math. I'm just making sure Luke has enough lands for Scapeshift to kill me, and then I'm packing up my cards.
Hey. Scapeshift can be a bit trolly like that. It's just like, oh, gotcha.